What'd you learn in the locker room, Nick? Tell us something, Nick.
Well, I
Nick.
have a specific question I want to ask you about. I know you talked to DJ Moore, and we talked a little bit about him today on the post game because there was, some people pointed out how he was sitting by himself on the bench, and the body language was a story last week too. And he's a team captain, and then he got hurt for a minute. It looked like he was banged up. And then he's on the receiving end of a touchdown from Caleb Williams. So I'm just curious what DJ Moore had to say in the locker room about Caleb, about his injury, about any of it.
Yeah, let's go with the touchdown real quick because he was kind of just describing that play. Said one-on-one with the backer. Caleb placed the ball very well, had a stick route, and just had to keep his feet in bounds. But to be fair, too, DJ has said before that he does like to sit alone on the bench. And it just got magnified, I think, in the Houston Texans game when things weren't, going well. So I think that the whole meltdown thing obviously backtracked that a little bit, but he was super happy in the locker room. Actually, when he was asked the question, what was working well in those back-to-back touchdown drives, he answered the first part of one of the reporter's questions by saying we're just locked in, honed in on the details. And then before he even got to the second question, he's like, I'm just too happy that we won. So he just had to recollect, stop himself, and then continued answering the question. But he said that everything was clicking. And I thought this was a key point in his interview because he said that when, earlier in the week, people were getting called out, they weren't doing stuff correctly. And I think Cole Kmet, he was also saying something very similar to this. And it's just, you don't want to be the one called out in front of your teammates if you're not doing something correctly. So I think there was some accountability being had by members of this offense if they were not doing things correctly. So they didn't want to be on that receiving end of being called out and just being the person that is at fault if a play doesn't go as scripted, as planned, as they could execute on the field.
So did that move along at any point to his chemistry right now with Caleb?
I think, obviously you see on that touchdown throw, I think that takes obviously precision and being in the right place, right time. But one of the other things that he pointed out to for just the offense being, I would say, in sync, especially on those two back-to-back touchdown drives, they mentioned the no-huddle offense, you guys. On the two drives that had the back-to-back touchdowns, you saw more no-huddle plays happening. And what DJ Moore talked about this, we'll get to Nate Davis in a little bit there, but DJ Moore was asked, did you guys simplify things on offense? And he said kind of, but no. But he said we were just playing fast, and it felt simple because the defense stayed in one type of coverage. And this is the quote that he had. We dictated what they were going to do by using and staying in no huddle or just getting to the ball quickly. So I think that really helped the offense produce what we saw in that second half, especially those two back-to-back touchdown drives.
Staying on the offensive side, obviously the offensive line is taking their lumps with injuries and guys getting moved around trying to find their continuity, but the run game certainly got going today. So I'm curious if you had a chance to talk to anybody on the offensive line about how they were able to finally take a step forward in that department.
Yeah, one of the guys that I actually spoke to was Nate Davis, and I don't know how many Bears fans, want to hear from him, but he had to step in when Tevin went down. He had to fluctuate the offensive line, and I just asked him, what's that like, coming off the bench, filling in? He's like, you really don't have any time to really think. You just got to do your job as best as possible. And then I specifically asked him, Greg, about that no-huddle offense. What do you like about it as an offensive lineman? And he said it keeps the defense on the field. They get tired, and you're able to kind of surprise them because as a defense, they're trying to still figure out their schemes, and you can just get a jump on them that way. So, I straight up asked him, do you want to see more of this in the offense, more of this no huddle? And he said it was cool to see it work, so he wasn't opposed to it at all. And if you see similar type of results, I'm sure many members of the offense would like to see something very similar.
Well, Nick, look, there's really only one draft pick from this class that matters. It's why we spent all summer talking about him nonstop.
Karan Amagaji.
Torrey Taylor.
Should have been drafted in the third round over Amagaji.
It's Torrey Taylor. He's the only guy that mattered. I have to tell you, I'm actually wearing your shirt right now. You don't know this because you haven't received this shirt yet, but it was actually from Greg to you.
He's wearing your shirt.
And I was supposed to give it to you at House Hall. But
he barely fits in it.
We did not cross paths. It's a little small on me. It's a little tight, but after how this game went, I had to run down to my car and wear it.
I mean, it makes perfect sense because punting is winning, and I think Torrey Taylor had a huge impact in this game. I asked him, what do you prefer, Torrey, hitting the 66-yard punt or pinning a team inside the 10? And he's like, big hang time. Yeah, he said no, he's been asked this a lot. It's hitting the deep ball. You get the big hang time. It's hard to do. Definitely the long ones. And then I just followed up when you got a hold of that punt, Torrey. I couldn't even finish my question. He's like, yeah, I knew it was good straight away. Just didn't want the ball to bounce in the end zone. And again, he was crediting his teammates, saying it'll go down as a 66-yard punt for Torrey Taylor. But his teammates were the one getting down there and really making sure that ball stayed outside of the end zone. And I also wanted to get his reaction from Hightower. What was he like after Torrey hit that ball? He said, I can't even remember. He helped him. Hightower helped Torrey Taylor a lot this week because Torrey said he had a terrible game last week. So he really needed to get better this week. And I think we saw the results of that in this game in the win today.
Yeah, we need more consistency from the punter. Nick, did you see? I know you didn't talk to him. Did you see Tevin Jenkins?
Unbelievable.
He just tries to throw that in there.
He just can't accept the L, Nick. Somewhere, we do a lot of shows every single week.
He just said it.
So, somewhere out there is a clip of me telling you shortly after the draft that there would be 1 to 2 games this coming season, that we would be talking about the punter having a huge impact on direct impact on winning the football game. We're 4 weeks in. We got our first game right now. That's a 1.
Check.
It's 1.
Yeah.
And you're just you're just living in denial. Is what's happening.
Still need help on the offensive line. Yabba-do. Hey, Nick, did you see Tevin Jenkins? I know you didn't talk to him, but you see him walking around in there?
Yeah, so he was just walking out as we were actually getting into the locker room. Didn't get a chance to talk to him or anything like that, but he was walking out as we were going in. Didn't have anything. Obviously, he was dealing with the rib injuries. That's what he was ruled out with, but walking out under his own power. So we'll have to keep that updated because obviously he's a huge part of this offensive line. But again, credit to guys like Nate Davis, Matt Pryor switching from right to left, and even though Tevin went down, the offense still, put together some drives. So we'll have to see what the update is with him.
Certainly seems like this defense has embraced the Lovie Smith days of bend but don't break. So switching over to the other side of the ball, I feel like we don't talk enough about this defense as well as they've played here these first 4 weeks of the season. Any chance you got to talk to anybody on defense?
Yeah, arguably one of the most important guys on the defense in today's game, Jaquan Brisker. He was asked, a series of questions, but he was asked, how rewarding is it when Flus dials up, a blitz for you? And the first thing Jaquan says, finally, been waiting for that all year. It was a great call, got the sack. And he was also asked, a follow-up, do you have to be in Eberflus's ear to tell him to do that? And he said, no, not really. He actually advocates for his teammates to go blitz. And we know that Kyler Gordon is someone that benefits a lot from Eberflus's play calling there. So,
did he say anything about the penalty?
He did. Yeah, he was asked, was it a penalty, first off? And he said, no, it wasn't. Didn't hear the whistle blow. Hit him like I usually would and just made a play. So Jaquan didn't agree with it. He was just, and we know, as we all know, we watch Jaquan Brisker every Sunday. He's someone that plays 110 miles per hour. So if he's not hearing that whistle, he's probably going to give you a hit regardless. So he didn't hear it, and that's why he made the play that he did.
All right, Nick. Anything else before we let you go?
Yeah, just real quickly, I wanted to just talk to Andrew Billings, about playing against an offense that goes no huddle. And he was a guy that went to Baylor, and they ran the no huddle offense there when he was in college. But I just wanted to get his perspective on how difficult it is for a defense to go against offenses that use no huddles like the Bears did in this win today. But he said that obviously playing at Baylor for a defense, you don't have a chance to catch your breath, don't have a chance to adjust. And he thinks it's very effective, and it just gets guys out of place, out of breath, and said that it's very effective. So if the Bears start sparingly use no huddle on different drives throughout the season, obviously it looked like it was something that Caleb was familiar with, comfortable with, and they had success in this one. Might not be the case every single game, but nice results here in this win on Sunday.
All right. Inside the locker room with Nicholas Moreano. Great stuff.
All right, you guys. See ya.
We all silly like the mayor.